All right, let's talk about last night's episode of Arrow. And right off the top, it was a good episode, creepy and disturbing, but good. There was a lot going on, and the case of the week was about this guy named Barton Mathis, and he was a serial killer who had been put away in jail 3 years ago by Lance, who is Laurel's father. And after the earthquake, he escaped, and he's back to doing what he does best, which is killing people. And his technique was basically grabbing girls and turning them into like these porcelain dolls. So what he would do, he would take them to this lab, and he would pour this liquid stuff down their throat, which would basically like eat up their esophagus, and they would it was just really creepy. And then he would hang them in like these doll dresses. It was just sad. And Lance basically had to team up with Oliver to solve this case. And eventually, the serial killer ends up grabbing Laurel and takes her back to his little creepy cave. And he also kidnaps the father, and Oliver has to come in and save the day. Now, the other thing that was going on with this episode was with Roy. And in the previous episode, Oliver reached out to Roy and basically told him, listen, I want you to be my eyes and my ears in the glades, and I want you to find out information and give it back to me whenever I need it. And at the top of the episode, Oliver had been surrounded by all these police officers, and then in swoops this female vigilante and saves him. And we find out through Roy that her name is Sin. And he tracks her down through some other guy who he does business with. And it turns out that she's up to some stuff that we're not quite sure about. But she seems to be a female version of Oliver. And so obviously we're going to find out more about her in the coming episodes. But I thought she was an interesting new person to introduce to the show. And it sounds like she's going to have a couple of layers that will be intriguing. We did get another glimpse of Oliver on the island and his story this time. They had found this ship basically in the last episode. They found all these dead Japanese soldiers, I believe, and this is who the people who are coming in off the ships are trying to find. And the two people that he's been with, the female, her name, I can't remember, but she ends up staying behind. Oliver and his partner go off to get to higher ground and find out where these boats are and who's trying to hurt them and all this kind of stuff. Then all of a sudden there's like this strike, and the ships are shooting at each other, and like all this craziness is happening, and it looks like they're actually shooting at the plane where they left the girl. So Oliver and him run back, they try to save her, and all of a sudden like there's all these explosions, and Oliver's like knocked out. And next thing you know, he wakes up and he's on this ship, and it looks like he's imprisoned on this ship. And that is like the last shot we see as the boat sails away. So I'm hoping next week's episode will pick up where it left off, and we'll get some good juicy tidbits about what's going on there. And we'll get some more to the story. It was a good episode. There was a lot going on. Like I said before, I'm glad that Laurel is not trying to become Oliver's love interest again. And we're getting some more interesting stuff about Roy, this girl Sin, and we're getting some nice juicy details about what happened back on the island when Oliver was there. So hopefully next week picks up where it left off, and it'll be another great episode. All right, guys, that's my review of Arrow.